Welcome to my next YouTube video commentary. This time I will put forward my solution to the current idiotic electoral system that we have in New Zealand. A system that does not serve the country well and needs to change. The real problem though is that getting Parliament to change the electoral rules would be akin to asking turkeys to vote for an early Christmas. It is not going to happen. So we need to push for a change from the outside. The current system suits the politicians but not the people. This was demonstrated in the so-called review of the system by politicians for politicians. If there is a sufficient number of calls for a change from the outside, then and only then can we expect any change to happen. First, what is the current situation? We have a parliament that is elected on a system called MMP, or mixed member proportional. It requires the people to cast two votes, the first one for an electorate member and a second one for a party of your choice. The electorate vote is on a first past the post system, whereby the person who achieves the most votes wins, whether or not they achieve more than 50% of the votes. The second vote is for the party that you wish to form the government. You vote for a party, but the party itself chooses the people that will be on their list, and the electorate has little or no say in that. A great left or socialist situation. The party always knows best. So far so good, but it has a very significant and bad side effect. As the party vote determines the proportionality of Parliament, it is the party vote that really controls everything. A party that achieves a party vote equivalent to 45% is entitled to 45% of the seats in the House, irrespective of the number of electorate seats that it wins. This means that it is the parties that have the real control and not the people. A second problem with the current situation is that the Parliament, if it is considered too large at 120 seats, can in fact be even larger. When the proportionality rules kick in, a larger parliament may be needed to fit the proportions established by the votes cast. By this I mean a party with more electorate seats than the total number of seats it is entitled to, calculated by its percentage of the party vote. There will be a need for more seats to be established so that the proportionality is maintained. This increase is known as an overhang. As a side issue, New Zealand had a referendum on the size of Parliament. There was a significant majority in the referendum for Parliament to be reduced to 100 seats. The referendum was only advisory, so it was completely ignored by Parliament. When a bill was put forward to enact the result of the referendum for a reduction in the size of Parliament, it was defeated by a massive vote. Once again, turkeys not voting for an early Christmas. However, the size of New Zealand's Parliament is in line with equivalent jurisdictions, so maybe the voting down of this was okay. Now I will explain my thoughts on the new electoral system that I would like to see implemented in New Zealand. First, one of the real benefits of MMP is that minor parties do have a reasonable chance of representation in Parliament. With a 5% share of the party vote, any party is entitled to seats in the House, even without the need to win electorate seats. This means that a party like the Greens, who normally achieve about 7% of the vote, would be unlikely to achieve representation in most other forms of electoral system. This even more so in the first past the post system that we had prior to MMP. Accordingly, votes for minor parties in first past the post systems are, to all intents and purposes, wasted votes. To achieve a fair result, these minor parties need to be able to get representation. However, they should not be able to hold a significant major party to ransom. This can and does more often happen under MMP, the tail wagging the dog. So how can this fair representation be achieved? My solution would be a form of hybrid electoral system. Once again, there would be 2 votes at an election. The first for the electorate that you live in, and the second for your favourite party. However, there would be no requirement for strict proportionality as at present. The number of electorates would be equivalent to 75% of all seats in the House, and the rest being made up of the party vote. With the size of our current Parliament, that would mean 90 electorates and 30 party seats. The electorate vote would be on a preferential system, whereby you list the candidates in your electorate in the order that you would wish. The votes are then counted, and if nobody receives over 50%, then the candidate with the least number of first choice votes drops off, and their second choices are counted. This system continues till one particular candidate achieves over 50%. This is a system that is used in Australia. This system means that all candidates are supported by more than 50% of the electorate. As a side issue, it will also mean that there are few, if any, safe seats, as second and third choices can and do mean that the initial leader may not be the final winner. Also, all votes count, and there are few, if any, wasted votes. Now we come to the second vote, which is for the party of your choice. This vote determines the number of party seats that any particular party receives in the House. The party vote will only relate to the party seats and not the overall makeup of Parliament. 30% of the party vote means you get 30% of the party seats. There may even be a desire to lower the threshold from the current 5% to say 3% to achieve a more varied representation. Second, no candidate could be on both electorate and party lists. If you do not win your electorate, you cannot be voted in by the back door through the party system. Therefore, a choice would need to be made. A party leader, for example, may only go on the party list, as being the leader and possibly the PM would make you very busy. This if you needed to service an electorate as well as the party. The only real adverse effect that I see would be the loss of strict proportionality. This is the main selling plank of the current system. The likelihood of any party receiving in excess of 50% of the party vote is very slim. Therefore, coalitions of parties are a necessity to establish majority government. In my opinion, coalitions are one of the main downfalls of the current system. Promises are made during election campaigns, some of which are stated as bottom lines or non-negotiable, but in fact are just forgotten when power is dangled in front of the leaders. Weak governments are the main result of coalitions. With the system that I am proposing, minor parties will have a say in Parliament, but are less likely to have the control that they can and do have at present. Note that New Zealand First, with only 9% of the popular vote, really controls what its major coalition party, Labour, can and can't do, and so really runs the country. With the lessening of the contribution of the party vote, this situation is less likely, and the electorate votes will become the main focus of the system. Parties will therefore focus more on the electorate than they do today. Your local MP will become more important. As the electorate vote is once again the primary source of power, this puts the people back in charge. You will have a real say in who is in Parliament, and not just the party bosses as at present. A side effect of this is that there would be strong government, and not one that always needs to compromise to achieve anything at all. Parties will need to honour their election promises or risk a voter backlash at the next election. Yes, not all decisions made would be popular, but all decisions would be subject to the electorate approval at the next election. something that is not really the case today, as promises made during the campaign can be, and often are, just forgotten, this being blamed on compromise. As I stated at the beginning of this video, change will not happen from within Parliament, as it is in the MP's own interests to maintain the status quo, once again expecting turkeys to vote for an early Christmas. It is from the people alone that any campaign must come. If you agree with my proposals, please support me, or let me know your proposals. Well, that is the end of this video. If you would like to comment, both positive and negative, feel free, as it is good to have a two-way conversation. Also, this will give me ideas for future commentary. Please like and share this video with your friends and family. And if you wish to subscribe to find out when I upload a new video, use the appropriate buttons. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.